Hey, what's up, guys? How are you doing? Welcome to the channel if you're new. Welcome back if you're not. One second, my microphone keeps falling over. All right, today we have Goblin King deck profile for GOAT format. If you guys like GOAT, Edison, Tengu, Hat format, any of those old school formats, we have it all here, so subscribe for more. Let's get straight into this profile. All right, today we have 3 Goblin King for 3 Goblin King GOAT format deck profile. I have to read this guy because he's kind of mandatory in case you don't know what he does. He says, this card cannot be attacked if there's another fiend type monster on your side of the field. The attack and defense of this card becomes the number of fiend type monsters on the field, excluding himself, times 1,000. So that isn't just your side of the field, but that's the opponent's side of the field too. So that's our main guy. He can get quite big. Then we're playing 3 Mystic Tomato. These are our dark recruiters for the deck. This will almost always bring you into a Goblin King, because that's what we're going for here. Because Goblin King is a dark monster with 15 or less stack. So essentially we have 6 copies of Goblin King. Alright, next up we have 3 Giant Germ. Giant Germ is a fiend, and when it's destroyed by battle, it can summon up to 2 more. So that means that it's going to, instead of 1 fiend being on the field, now you have 2, which plays into the fact that Goblin Kings needs more fiends on the field, right? So the synergy is very real between them. Next up, we have a Songan. Super splashable in many GOAT format decks. It's obviously no brainer that we're going to put him in a fiend deck. He can search you Goblin King. He can search you Tomato. He can search you Giant Germ. Really good floater. Excellent monster. Next up, we have some fiend beaters before we get into spells and traps. There is an absolute ton of spells and traps. This deck is very gimmicky in the way it creates more fiends being on field. There's not a crazy amount of monsters in this deck. We got 3 Giant Orc and 2 Dark Ruler Hades just to close it out. Dark Ruler Hades is a very nostalgic card for me, so I wanted to make sure he had a slot in this deck. So that puts us at 3, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So 15 monsters, then we have 25 spells and traps. So we have a very low monster count. Giant Orc is basically just a worse Goblin attack force. He does the same thing by switching defense after he attacks. But he has 100 less attack. But he's a fiend. So he's a fiend beater. I wanted to play him. And then Dark Ruler Hades. He just says cannot be special summoned from the graveyard. Negate the effects of monsters destroyed by battle with fiend monsters you control. So Goblin King will get very big. So this shuts off Night Assailant, shuts off Moth, shuts off Gravekeeper Spy, shuts off a bunch of flip effects, shuts off opponent's Songan that's destroyed by battle. Yeah, I really like it. All right, let's get these out of the way, then let's get on the spells and traps. Okay, here we go. First off, you got your phone, your car keys, and your wallet. You can't leave home without them. Pot of Graceful Cherry Delinquent Duo. Don't need to say anything else about them. These cards are insane. Snatch Steal. Also crazy. 1 of. Premature Burial. Good 1 of. Heavy Storm, MST. And that's the power 1 ofs, the power spells. Don't really need to spend any time on them. Just give you guys a second to write them down, screenshot, whatever you need to do. Just great cards for the format. All right, move these up a little so we have more space now because we have a lot of spells and traps to go over. Okay, we're playing 2 Upstart Goblin because we're playing a lot of cards that are mandatory for what we're trying to accomplish, and I'll get into those cards later. So we want to deck thin as much as possible to maximize on seeing those cards. So we opted to play 2 Upstart Goblin. I also think it's kind of cool that it's a Goblin, which Goblins historically in Yu-Gi-Oh! Are fiends, so it kind of fits the theme as well. Next up, we're playing 2 Creature Swap. We are playing Scapegoats, so it's easy to take a monster they control and give them a Scapegoat token. Or maybe a Giant Germ and then summon 2 more. There's tons of versatility for the card Creature Swap and how many scenarios it can come up in. A Mystic Tomato, giving them that, then it beat over it. A Giant Germ, like I mentioned, a Song, and then beating over it. A lot of value. Scapegoat token. So 2 Creature Swap made a lot of sense in this deck build. Next up, we are playing 2 Opti Camouflage Armor. All right, this is a more niche card, so I'll definitely read it for you guys for don't know what it does. This one says, you can only equip this card to a level 1 monster. Goblin King. A monster equipped with this card can attack your opponent's life points directly. So this guy can get really big. In fact, we have a way of getting him up to 9,000 attack. So next card will show. I know this says DNA transplant. My dumbass was going too quickly through my bulk when I was picking these cards out. It's supposed to be DNA surgery. DNA surgery changes. So DNA transplant says declare 1 attribute and activate this card, and then every monster on the field has that same attribute, which doesn't work for what we're trying to do. We need DNA surgery, the other one. So write down DNA surgery. Ignore this right here. We need DNA surgery. DNA surgery says declare 1 type, and when it's activated, all monsters on the field are that declared type. So that includes your opponent's monsters. So if you have DNA surgery, not DNA transplant, Goblin King can potentially get the 4 other monsters you control being fiends, and 5 monsters your opponent controls being fiends. So you can get up to 9,000 attack. All we need is 8. Shoot, all we need is 4 attack twice. 2 Goblin Kings attacking twice at 4k each. That's all we need with Opti Camouflage Armor. Or, we only play 2, so the odds of getting 2 is kind of low, but 1 hitting a monster like a scapegoat token attack position. That's why we like the creature swap as well. So you need 2 DNA surgery, not transplant. Next up, we have Ojama Trio. We're playing 2 of them. Again, this is a beast type, but it'll turn into a fiend with DNA surgery. It gives our opponent 3 tokens, which will increase the monster count on the field significantly for Goblin King. Up next, we have 1 Dust Tornado. Because we are trying to accomplish what we're trying to accomplish and not be stopped along the way, a little more backer removal felt necessary. We had an extra slot, so I opted for the Dust Tornado. Up next, we have Call of the Haunted. This will allow us to increase our fiend count on field. Same reason why Premature Burial is good. Just being able to swarm the field and get more fiends for Goblin King is very necessary. Or if they out your Goblin King, fucking flip that thing and get another one on field right away. Feels nice in battle phase. Up next, we have 1 Mirror Force, 1 Torrential Tribute, and 1 Ring of Destruction. Ring of Destruction is crazy in this deck because of Goblin King getting so big. You can also Ring of Destruction your Goblin King after it's already attacked, then call the Haunted, bring it back, and attack again. So that's kind of a crazy, cool interaction right there. But yeah, that's the deck profile, guys. Remember, DNA surgery, not DNA transplant. 2 copies of that you need. If you guys have any suggestions for changes, anything you would want to add, take away, maybe change up some ratios, let me know down below. It is a very niche deck, so I'm always looking for input from the GOAT community. But yeah, we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.